SEC, SEC. The day has finally come, man. I know these guys on the screen is excited. We got the 2026 post spring SEC preview. I got Rob and Sean in the building with me. What's up with you, Rob? How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing good, and man, your SEC chat was nice, bro. You might as well come on over and join us over here with the SEC. I'm doing great. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. And even if you haven't had a biological child of your own, but you've been a woman in somebody's life like a mother, happy Mother's Day to you as well.
For sure. We got SEC Sean up in the building this morning. What's up, SEC Sean? How you feeling?
We're doing good. Yeah, I got to agree. I was kind of impressed with that SEC chant. I've heard you do it before because, I mean, I know you call Paul Feinbaum all the time. So I know I've heard you do it before. So,
man,
but 100%. Definitely shout out to all the mothers out there. Whatever capacity you might be a mother in, whether stepmom, mom, grandma, nanny, whatever. Shout out to all of them.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm gonna take Zaya, man. Definitely shout out to all the mothers out there. Shout out to my mama. Happy Mother's Day, mama. You know what I mean? Shout out to my lady who's one of one, just fabulous mother. I couldn't do the things I do out here without her. But let's get right into this SEC. Hey, y'all got a little too excited about the SEC champ, man. I ain't gonna show no disrespect towards y'all's conference. I was just showing y'all some love. Y'all taking it too far now, though. Hey, but the first question we got on the docket, man. This post spring, who looks like the biggest threat to win the SEC coming up after this post spring?
I'll let you go first, SEC.
I mean, the biggest threat to win it is, in all honesty, it's probably got to be Texas, to be honest. With the offense they have, coming back with Arch, the additions they made through the portal with, the running backs they brought in. I think the biggest question for the contenders is going to be the same across the board: is what offensive line play do you get? But if I have to say who's the biggest threat right now, I'm going to have to go with Texas, with what they brought back and what they did in the portal.
Man, I think this is a really, really good question because there's at least about 3 or 4 teams who I feel like could be the biggest threat to possibly dethrone the number 1 team in the SEC, and that's Georgia. I think there's about 4 teams out there that could possibly dethrone them this year. I feel like Texas can be one, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and LSU. I kind of want to throw Alabama in there, but I ain't sure about Alabama because I don't know if they fixed their run issues. But I think one of those 4 teams could possibly win the SEC this year. And if I had to pick one, I'm going to have to be biased and go with my Texas Longhorns. I feel like Steve Sarkisian is ready to break through, just like Ryan Day needed to do a couple of years ago, and he did it. I think this is the year that Steve Sarkisian has to put it all together. He has the weapons. He has 2-3 deep that is really, really solid. And like SEC Sean said, if that offensive line can come out and be as good as they need to be, they could definitely be the team and the biggest threat in the SEC to the King, Georgia.
Hey, man, let's welcome post-game sports people. How you feeling post-game?
I feel marvelous this morning, man. How y'all doing? And shout out to the mothers, man. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Nah, for sure. Hey, you came in at a perfect time. We want you to jump right in. Who looked like the biggest threat in the SEC to you?
I mean, I heard a lot of y'all say Texas, and how can you not talk about Texas with the moves they've made, with the progression of their quarterback Arch Manning? I definitely think it's going to come down to Georgia and Texas, but some other teams will have a say so in that. Texas A&M. I heard Rob say Bama, but Bama needs to get their run game in order. Um, you LSU, with all the talent they've accumulated, could they put that? Can they make that team gel in the first year? So, I mean, there's a few teams you can look at and like and say they're going to be a threat to win the SEC. But for me, as of today, I got to go with Texas, and Georgia's right there as well.
Yeah, I'm going Ole Miss, man. I think they're gonna have two of the most dynamic players in the conference on the same team. And I know they lost OCs and DCs, but they kept a lot of staff members that was under that regime too, though. That a couple guys just got promoted. So I like Ole Miss, man, and the dynamic duo of Trinidad and Keywan Lacey. Which team is being overrated heading into the summer?
I'm gonna start this off, man, and I feel like it's that team you just mentioned. I think it's gonna be that Ole Miss team. Yes, they got Keywan Lacey. Yes, they got Trinidad Chambliss. But what they don't have is those defensive guys that they had last year. Many of them who still had eligibility left decided to go with Lane Kiffin and LSU. I think defensively they're going to have issues in a conference that we know wants to run the football and it can also spread you out. I think they're going to have some troubles this year. I know I mentioned them as possibly being one of those teams because of those two players, but I think they're the team that everybody is expecting to be really, really nice. But I think they can possibly finish 4, 5, or 6 in this conference this year.
Overrated. I actually think it's LSU. I know they brought in a lot of talent, but first year, new coach, new systems. Quarterback hasn't done any kind of practice coming back from injury. I mean, Sam Levitt, he got injured last year. He's now in the SEC. I think LSU's being a little bit overrated right now. I'm not saying that they're going to go like 2-8 or 9 or something like that, but I think people are saying LSU could win the title, and I just don't see LSU. I see LSU as like an 8-4, 7-5 type team this year.
Yeah, I gotta agree with both of y'all. Those are two very good picks when you talk about being overrated coming into the season. I like the moves LSU made, and I think they accumulated a lot of talent. It's just a lot of times when there's a changeover like that, and a lot of different players are brought into that system, new coaching staff or whatnot, it's often that second year. Like the first year, they trying to work out the kinks, they trying to get acclimated and things of that nature. So if I gotta say a team, actually y'all mentioned the two teams I was looking at, which was Mississippi and LSU. I think those two teams might be a little overrated. LSU, off the simple fact, I think they need to gel, get that camaraderie. And then Mississippi, off the fact that they lost a lot, coaching staff, players. I think Trinidad and Keywan are going to be monsters, but overall, I don't think Mississippi is going to be a player to win the SEC championship this year.
Yeah, my overrated team, I'm going with Bama. Easily Bama. I think, it's a lot of brand bias going on with Bama. I don't like first year starters. We seen the struggles that Arch Manning went through. I think Keelan Russell probably go through some of the same bumps and bruises year one. and we got to see if they can fix that running game as well. I think they got definitely hella talent on that roster. It's just about can DeBoer put that stuff together over there, and I just don't see it. I mean, they probably opened up in the post spring rankings somewhere in the middle of the top 25. But man, I don't know. I just got this bad taste in my mouth about Bama from last year. So I don't know. I think that stuff is gonna carry over. I think this is a make or break year for real for DeBoer too. Even though he just got an extension, and I don't know how. But there's more information coming on in a later question on that. Let's tap into these comment sections. Rhett D4B said hi, hello, good morning, Rhett. Like, comment, subscribe. What's up, Level Up Sports 10? Yeah, get that daddy-daughter time in, man. It's a beautiful thing. All right, we got the next question on the docket. No. Which coach is under the most pressure?
I'll jump this one first. This is super easy, and this should be a clean sweep. Shane Beamer at South Carolina. There's just they were talking about firing him last year. If South Carolina starts out, 1-4, you're probably going to see a coaching change really soon over there. I don't know. South Carolina might wait till the end of the year, but to me, this is make or break for sure for Shane Beamer. He better have a good year, or South Carolina going to be in the process of looking for a new coach.
Man, for me, it's a few guys, man, in my opinion, that are definitely under a lot of pressure. I mean, if you think about Steve Sarkisian and the fact that he has been predicted to be a team that can win the SEC and make it to the college football playoffs and win it, and hasn't done it yet, has not beat the likes of a Ryan Day, has not beat Kirby Smart. Those pressures are out there for him, and we know the things he was going through last year with the rumors of him possibly going to the NFL because of the murmuring about how Texas was playing early in the season. I think Steve Sarkisian is one. I definitely know Shane Beamer is one. I don't even think he's going to make it through this season. I think unless Lenore Sellers puts on a cape and leads them to 8, 9, 10 win season, he's going to probably be out that door. And I also believe Lane Kiffin, the way he went about his business last year, he's going to be one that is going to be up under a lot of pressure to bring back LSU to a conference that they have always been towards the top, and they haven't been towards the top in a while. And then the last one I'm going to mention is going to be, oh man, it just slipped my mind. Kellen DeBoer. He's going to have to be able to get Alabama looking at least close to what Saban had them. They don't, even though they made it to the SEC championship game last year, none of us felt like they were the second best team in the SEC. It's just the chips just happened to fall in their favor, and they got in that seat. But I think Texas A&M was a better team than them. I think Texas was a better team than them. And I think Ole Miss was a better team than them. And I think all three of those would have gave Georgia a much better game than what Alabama did. So I think those four coaches are definitely under some pressure.
Yeah, definitely a few places you can go when you talk about coaches under pressure. The coach under the most pressure, in my opinion, guys, has to be DeBoer. I think Beamer is under pressure, but I think the expectations of Alabama and that fan base is a lot higher than South Carolina's. Drinkovich at Missouri is one that could be under a lot of pressure, but for my money, I'm gonna go with DeBoer simply because the expectations at Alabama is a little different. I know he got extended. I don't understand the extension with the fan base not being so happy with his performances. I know they made the playoffs, probably shouldn't have been a playoff team, but there's a lot of turnover. They lost a lot of players in the transfer portal, particularly on defense. Can he get that offense going? Can he get that running game where it needs to be to compete in the SEC? I think DeBoer is under the most pressure. He has to deliver this season.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with post game on DeBoer. But man, my one guy, it's got to be Sark, man. Um, you had a number one quarterback out of the class in Quinn Ewers. Now you got another number one quarterback in Arch Manning. You got, I think they're in kind of a year that Ryan Day was in, when we won a natty that year, where you got all this talent on this roster. I think that fan base and I think that administration over there, they want to see results. I think Sark has to at least win the SEC, if not the natty. You got to win one of these. You got to bring a chip over to Texas. So I'm going with Sark on that. Let's just stay on the coaches. Which coach in the SEC would you want to lead your program over the next 5 years if you had a choice?
Man, the guy who we talked about one thing, Steve Sarkisian, he would be the guy that I would want to, because he's so freaking innovative with his offense. And I think we're starting to see now in college football where offense is starting to be the reason why teams are winning. Now, defense is still running things right now, but the name of the game is to be able to score points. If you can muster up schemes that can score you some points, you could not have such a great defense. But the thing about it is you can have a great defense and not have a good offense, and chances are somebody is going to have an opportunity to outscore you because your offense just can't generate enough time of possession to win games for you. So I'm going to say Steve Sarkisian, for the simple fact that he's such a great offensive mind and he's such a likable coach that he's always going to be able to get players, and he's always going to be able to get high-profile coaches to come and coach up under him as a head coach. So I'm going to go with Steve Sarkisian, even though I know he's up under the most pressure.
Yeah, I think that's a solid pick, but I think I'm going to go with the best coach in the SEC, and that's Kirby Smart. I would want him leading my program for the next 5 years. Ton of success, college football championships. Georgia is right there in the thick of things every single season. So for my money, it got to be Kirby Smart.
Yeah, both super solid picks. I'm gonna be the ultimate homer though. I want who I've got leading my program. I like what Mike Elko is doing there. Not only did he change the culture of the program from what it was, where it was all about we paid for the highest recruiting class and got nothing out of them. He goes into the portal. He doesn't get splashy and flashy. He goes and gets what he needs. And based on what he's done under 2 years, not just as he was, being a DC, what he did at Duke, building that program up before coming back to A&M, I'm happy with. I wanted him to keep leading it because I think he's doing it the right way with the culture change. So I'm going to stay with Elko.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to go with John Summerall over at Florida, man. I really like this dude. He's in his early 40s, so you can get a lot of time out of him as well. He was over at Troy. He did not miss a conference championship game when he was there. That's just great coaching right there, because playing on that level, the talent disparity ain't really that high. It's not really that big. So, man, I think this dude is gonna kill it. He over at Florida right now. We know they done had a good portal week. We're hearing about all the talent in Florida. I think this is a guy that's absolutely going to step in the SEC and be something to deal with from day one.
Yeah, to add on to that one take, I think he has an opportunity now. I don't know if the schedule is going to benefit him like it did Indiana in the first year under Cignetti, but he has an opportunity to sort of go in that same path, being a guy coming from a Group of Five school up to the SEC, like much like Signetti did going to the Big Ten. He has an opportunity to sort of try to get into that mix. I just don't know if the schedule is going to benefit him like it did Indiana in that first year. But he did do really, really good in the portal, and I'm quite sure he already had talent on that team. So I want to see if he can sort of follow in that same path. But I think that's a really good pick, the Florida head coach.
Florida's schedule is much more favorable than it has been in the past couple of years. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Florida has had the worst schedule in the SEC for the past 2 years. Those poor dudes, and this year they've got a pretty manageable one. Their toughest games. They've got Texas and Georgia on there. But other than that, it's kind of what everybody else is facing in the SEC. So,
Don't y'all got a new scheduling system over there though, where pretty much it's like 4 teams locked in on your schedule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 3 opponents every year. Like A&M has Texas. I think ours are Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, or something like that. I don't even remember who they are, to be honest with you. But you have 3 locked in, and then you rotate the rest every other year, home and away. So, like, next year will be the first year, not this coming year, but the next year will be the first time Georgia has ever come to A&M, and we've been in the SEC since 2012.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? So, and we've only played them once. We played them at Georgia one time in 14 years. So now it's flipping to where you're going to get a rotation every other year. So. We did get some questions, or some not questions, but some comments over there. I don't know if you want to touch on them. Level Up Sports 10 mentioned Missouri was overrated.
Yeah, if you could put them on the screen for me, we could definitely touch them.
He went with Missouri being his overrated team for sure.
Missouri almost overrated almost every year for real, because they usually typically get a nice schedule.
And that's his second question, or his second point, was they started off hot but just haven't got it done. So that's good takes on Missouri. He popped up with the coaches. He didn't really name a coach. He did go with Sark and DeBoer, much like y'all did. Another name I wanted to mention on that real quick because it popped up afterwards. Anybody think Venables is on the hot seat?
No, I can't see it because you know what they went through on their roster last year with the injuries and just the offense period, for him to still make the college football playoff. I think he got grace.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the fact that they were able to make the college football playoffs despite the injuries, I think he does have some grace. Now, that's not saying if he only wins 2 games this season, of course, he'll be on the hot seat. But as of right now, I don't think he is.
Yeah, he bought himself some time for sure by making it to the college football playoffs last year. Had he had one of those seasons like he had previously, he definitely would have been on a much hotter seat. But he's also going to be on the hot seat if he can't beat Texas this year too. If he goes and does not score any points, any touchdowns against Texas this year, I know those people in Oklahoma are going to be calling for his head to get a good offensive coordinator or to get to stepping.
Okay. Hey, I accidentally deleted the next question, so I'm just going to ask it, and it's not going to show up on the screen. But who is flying under the radar heading into the summer? Which program?
Go ahead, Post Game. You got it. Go ahead.
Right on. Listen, I think Kentucky is. And I think what Will Stein wants to do offensively, he wants to have a high-powered offense at Kentucky. Getting Kenny Minchey out of the transfer portal who everybody's gonna see that kid is a dude. Who knows why he didn't win? You know, the starting job at Notre Dame. I know a lot of us Irish fans go back and forth on that, but you look at the players, the wide receivers, the running backs. Kentucky was able to bring in Will Stein's offensive philosophy, Kenny Minchey being able to get the ball downfield and also use his legs to put pressure on the defense. I think Kentucky is in a prime position to prove a lot of people wrong and make a little bit of noise in the SEC. Not saying they're going to win it, but I think they'll be a little bit better than people think.
That's a good pick, man. I really don't know, man, because I think when you start looking at some of those teams that we know or predict to be in the top, anybody who is below them are going to have a tough time if they have any of those teams on their schedule. I do like that Kentucky pick because they did do really good in the portal in terms of getting some really talented players. They got a couple of talented players from Texas who I felt like Texas should have kept, but I just think that they couldn't come to terms on money, so that it ended up messing them up. But man, I like that Kentucky pick. I'm going to go with Florida. I think Florida is going to be one of those teams that, with the coach that they got, with the talent that they got, they're going to be much better than what they were last year. They still got Ball. They still got that wide receiver Dallas. So they're going to be tough, man. And I think they play a style of play that's going to be really, really solid for the SEC gauntlet. And they're going to be one of the teams that I think will be much better than they were last year. So I'm going to pick Florida.
That's why I was trying to go first, because I knew you were going to pick Florida, and that's where I was leaning. But that's all right. We'll pick somebody different just because I don't want us to be all on the same. I'm going to go, believe it or not, I'm going to go Auburn. I think Auburn's having a whole new revamp of everything. Now, I don't expect Auburn much to compete for the SEC title in year one, but I think Auburn's offense is going to be more improved. And Auburn's always had a decent defense, let's be fair, even when they're bad. But they just couldn't move the ball last year at all. So I think that's going to change, and that's going to make them a much better team than they were. Don't think they're going to win the conference or anything, but I think they're kind of a team that is enjoying being under the radar, let's so to say. Let all these other teams get all the hype and let us just do our thing. And you mentioned Kentucky. Kentucky's problem I have is obviously they're going to be better than they were last year, and I know that's where we're going, but poor Kentucky, they start SEC play in week 2.
Yeah.
They get Youngstown State, and then they go Alabama. They host Alabama, and then they go to A&M back to back in the first 3 weeks of the season. So,
yeah, A&M is definitely a crazy place to play for sure.
With all that new and the new system and trying to get your calls out with the crowd, that's that. But I do think Kentucky is going to be quite a bit better.
Hey, this Kentucky team, though, has always been one of them teams, man, that upset people in the SEC, man. And they might not have an overall good record, but they give the upper echelon teams hell of a games. So, I could see them getting a couple people that we don't expect them to get.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
I just hope Texas not one of them.
What you say, Rob?
I said I just hope Texas isn't one of them because they had us on the ropes last year.
Yeah, y'all don't have them this year, so y'all are okay.
You went with Auburn, right? SEC?
Yeah, I took Auburn. Yeah, I took Auburn as the team I look at.
Listen, a lot of people ain't talking about Byron Brown Byron Brown and him going from USF to Auburn. I think he's going to make a lot of plays this season.
Well, that was the thing with it is if you think of all the coaching changes, how many coaches in the SEC only brought their quarterback with them. So that automatically helps the offense because not only is the coach teaching a new system, the quarterback is able to teach the new system because it's the same system. So
Yeah, it's a level up though. It's a level up. We got to see what that look like. Man, my flying under the radar team is Tennessee, man. You know, Brandon Faison, 5-star quarterback. That fan base, they just like any other blue blood fan base. They expect to win in Tennessee, man. So I think that hyper offense is always gonna give people problems. Really, it's just gonna come down to who they start at quarterback, and if it is Faison, how good can he be in year one as a true freshman, and how much is he picking up on things? But I already know they got athletes on defense. I already know they do, you know. But Tennessee is one of them teams too. That's another stadium that's just real tough to play in. I think they're going to win a lot of games at home, and it's just about going on the road and getting a few games here and there. But I definitely think they should probably be in the picture of getting a college football playoff berth coming towards the end of the year. I think it's going to come up to a multitude of teams, but they should be right there, just with everybody else.
Yeah, one take. I'm on the fence about going to that game in Knoxville, taking that 5.5-hour drive. I'm not one for going into other people's stadiums outside of Ohio State because I live here. But man, I'm really on the fence about going to that game. I want to go so bad, but I'm not quite sure I want to go in that hostile environment like that.
Hey, I done did a lot of security in my days, man. I'm up for a gig if you want to hire me.
There it is.
Just know that if you go to Tennessee to a game there, just know that all the way driving back home, all you're going to have stuck in your head is Rocky Top. Because they play it about 75,000 times every quarter.
All right, which program do y'all think will have the most impactful transfer portal?
I'm going to jump on impactful. So not necessarily the best, but the most impact has got to be, in my mind, A&M's. Did they get the right players to fix that run defense? And you picked up another wide receiver that you needed, a big body in Horton out of Alabama. And really a lot of our transfer stuff came from the defensive side. We did get 4 new offensive linemen, but that's my question. I think that's going to be the most impactful is that the right hot picks to fix that run defense? And that's why I'm going A&M, because that's all they were missing last year. If we could have stopped the run, we probably could have beat Texas if we could have stopped the run, could have beat Miami if we could have stopped the run. So that's why I'm going with A&M as the most impactful.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with LSU. I think they probably hit the portal the hardest because of a new coaching regime over there. So I'm gonna go with LSU, and the fact that they really need to get back in the upper echelon of the SEC. The past 2 years it's been 2 years that I've watched the SEC the most. I watched from the outside previous years, but since Texas has joined the SEC, I watched it a lot closer. And LSU really has not been a concern at all in this conference. Unlike they have been in the past, they usually will come down to LSU, Georgia, Alabama. And the last 2 years, it has not been the case. Lane Kiffin now inserts in as their head coach. They got a lot of guys from Ole Miss in the portal. He went and got Sam Levitt. So I'm going to pick LSU as the team that I think will have the biggest impact because of the portal.
Yeah, fellas, I'm surprised I didn't hear Coleman in Texas. I'm going to stay at Texas, but I'm not going to talk about their receivers. I'm talking about these running backs Texas was able to get out of the portal. Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown. This is key, and can have the most impact in the SEC. You got Arch Manning's legs. Then you got two different running backs with two different styles. Kind of reminds me of the Quinshawn Judkins and Trevion Henderson running back duel that took Ohio State to a national championship a couple years ago. If that's going to be really tough to deal with, fellas, when you got to run a quarterback who can scoot like Arch and then two different styles at the running back position, that's going to be tough, and that's going to be key for Texas's for Texas success this season. That running game is going to be difficult to deal with. If I gotta say, most impactful is those running backs down in Texas.
Yeah, I think the most impactful portal is going to be OU. They didn't have weapons on offense last year. Parker Livingstone came from Texas. They also got Trail Harris that came from Virginia, who I think was a solid pickup. And they also got a solid tight end in that class as well. I just think Mateer just needed some weapons. I don't think he had no weapons. We know Burks got drafted last year, but I don't think none of us can really name any other of them guys that played on OU last year. So I like the two weapons on the outside that they picked up, as well as the security blanket that they picked up. Hopefully, them having some weapons will help out the run game, because I still don't know what's going on with their run game, and I don't think they really picked up nobody that's that we at least know about in the portal at that position that could come in that room and help. But I like what they did in getting Mateer some weapons. Anything else to add? All right, who is y'all's top three quarterbacks in the SEC this year?
Man, that's a really tough one to pick because they have a lot of really, really good quarterbacks in this conference. I want to go with Trinidad Chambliss at 1. I'm going to go Arch Manning at 2. And I'm going to go Gunnar Stockton at 3. I don't know about Gunnar Stockton, but I'm going to go Gunnar Stockton at 3.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Arch 1 based on what he turned into at the end of last year. I'm gonna go Chambliss 2, and I'm gonna surprise everybody here, and I'm gonna tell you who I expect to have a breakout as the number 3 is going to be Lenora Sellers at South Carolina. That kid is got an arm, and he's big and he's strong. So I'm going to go Sellers as 3.
Yeah, that's a very good pick, man. That kid has all the talent. Hopefully he can put it all together and have a bounce back season. For me, at 1, I'm going to go Arch Manning. You know, he's a Manning. He has everything he needs to succeed. He should be comfortable in that Steve Sarkisian system by now. We've seen the way he ended last season. He ended last season on a roll, and I think that's the Arch Manning everybody was expecting. So I'm going to go with Arch along with those weapons they surrounded him with. At 2, you know what? I'm going to go Marcel Reed, man. I think he's going to take a big jump this season. I like the weapons. SEC, Sean tells us about the wide receiver core at Texas A&M. New offensive coordinator, fresh start for Marcel Reed. I think he's going to take a jump this season. And then at 3, I got Trinidad. Man, I was blown away by his playmaking ability last season. I think he's going to add to that playmaking ability. I think they're going to score a lot of points in Mississippi. So that's my top 3.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Trinidad at 1. Just it's too dynamic, man. At 2, I'm going with Gunnar. The dude, he might not have the best numbers in my opinion, but I just think he just a winner. He just know how to win games. And then at 3, I'm gonna go Arch, man. I think Arch kind of light bulb clicked on for him last year at the end of the year, and I look for him to build on that. And I even if he have a good year, I don't even think he gonna go pro, Rob. I think he gonna come back and do another year. I don't know, but maybe you might have better information on that. What you think he might do? But yeah, that's my 3, man. I like that Sellers pick though. That Sellers pick because he a wild card for real.
Man, I
Yeah.
will tell you this. Go ahead, SEC Shane.
No. Go ahead.
I will say this for you, one take Zay. If he does come back for another year, it's because they're not sure if they want to go from Arch to KJ Lacey. They probably want to go from Arch to Dia Bell. So they might be trying to convince Arch to come back for a third year, just like we got surprised when Quinn Ewers came back for a third year at Texas. I can see Arch doing the same thing. It's possible, man. It's possible. But I think it's only going to depend on the fact that they may not want to go from Arch to KJ Lacey, who's a smaller built quarterback who they really, really love, though. So I think they're going to feel good about that. But I think the issue is they love Dia Bell too, and they're smashed right up against each other to where maybe you only get 1 year of KJ Lacey. Because I think by the junior year for Dia Bell, they want him to be on the field. They don't want it to be a situation where he comes and sits on the bench for Texas for 3 years and not get on that field. They want to put him on the field by year 3. And if KJ Lacey is still there, they're gonna lose one of them, either KJ or Dia Bell. Yeah, so
I got something.
work it out on that.
I got something after you, SEC. Go ahead.
You can actually go. I was actually over here reading the comments. I was just going to post up what Level Up Sports had been popping out with. So you can go ahead. We can hit his comments in a second.
Cool. I think when you talk about an Arch Manning, of course, in order for him to go pro, he's going to have to have a big year. It also depends on who has that pick. If he's projected to go number 1, a lot of that is going to depend on what team is picking number 1. The Mannings are heavy players in the NFL. A lot of people think they're the first family of the NFL. So I think, with his uncles, his dad, his grandfather, and their connections and ties to the NFL, it's going to all depend on where he's going, where he's projected to go, in the situation he'll be in. They're definitely not going to put Arch in a bad situation. They're going to make sure he's with a team who fits what he does and where he can grow and have success at. So couple that with a big season, and I think he's gone.
Yeah, I could see that. Like I said, I was just going to throw up Level Up Sports responses to the questions. He went, his quarterbacks were Arch, Chambliss, and then he kind of took the easy way and said he wasn't going to pick a 3 because it was too tough. So I don't fault him for that. Number 3 is hard in that league, but he did say he wasn't sure about the Sellers pick based on everybody was hoping how he would be last year, and he wasn't. Reminds him of Tommy C, former Florida State quarterback. So just wanted to touch on what he said. We do have our boy Anthony Manzano, 3551 is back in. He's joined us a few times in the chat. He's back. He got some stuff to say about Miami, about recruiting and flipping cornerbacks, but I haven't seen any of that yet. So, but he's back in the chat too. So welcome back, and it's good to see people coming back for these shows.
Yeah, I seen that, Anthony. I mean, I don't think over here at WTP we take recruiting rankings too serious. You know, he could be number 2, but is he really number 2? Um, hey, let me ask you guys this: are there any position battles from any teams that you guys been having your eyes on? Who are they? Where they might be? I know, Rob, you might have a couple at Texas, and Sean, you might have a couple at A&M. But even if it's any other programs that y'all seen, what are some of the position battles y'all been seeing going on this spring, this post spring?
Well, I mean, I know the one a lot of people have. There are some from A&M I'll get to, but the one a lot of people are watching is that quarterback battle down at Bama. See how that's going to play out. But as far as A&M goes, I'm really watching our tackles, the ones we brought in 4 offensive linemen from the portal, but we've got some stud freshmen and sophomores that might jump on that. So we're going to see. I'm watching the offensive line battles. And the other battle I'm watching at A&M is cornerback 2. Des Ricks is going to be CB1. We already know that. But this Arrington kid out of California is phenomenal. We've got Humphrey, who transferred in from Georgia a couple years ago. So I'm watching to see who's going to take over that cornerback 2 position. Right now, I think it's trending towards the freshman actually getting the start.
We knew Rod was gonna put them up. Hey, that's hilarious.
Bevo's body.
What about you, Pose? You have you been keeping an eye on any position battles around the SEC?
Tennessee, who's gonna win that quarterback battle? Alabama, who's gonna win that quarterback battle? I think the quarterback position is the most important. Obviously, I think we all know that, but Tennessee, not their quarterback from last year, not being granted that extra year of eligibility, which is why college football needs to be taken over, because there's they get one quarterback that year, they say no to another quarterback. I think if Tennessee had that quarterback back, they would be primed they would be in a better position. But the quarterback battles at Tennessee, at Alabama, are definitely worth eyeballing and keep your eye on.
Yeah, I know as far as Texas is concerned, I know that those wide receivers there, the top 3 are probably going to be on the field in terms of Emmett Mosley, Coleman, and Ryan Wingo. But, man, how are they going to keep that Jermaine Bishop off the field? I think Dylan McCutcheon and Khalil Lockett, who suffered an injury during the spring, they're going to have a hard time keeping Jermaine Bishop from moving up in front of them, man, and getting into that circle of trust that Steve Sarkisian wants to have with his wide receivers. So Jermaine Bishop is one for me. And then that left guard position. A lot of people are just penciling in Lawrence Seymour, the transfer portal guy, into that position. But Andre Kojo is coming off of injury. Jordan Coleman is there. I think both of those guys is going to give Lawrence Seymour a run for that left guard position. I think the other positions are pretty much solidified. We know Trevor Gooseby is going to start at left tackle. We know our center is going to be Connor Robertson, and we know that Brandon Baker is going to move into right guard, and then Melvin Siani is probably going to be that right tackle. So I think those are position battles that we got to look forward to, that left guard and that wide receiver position, because I think both running backs understand what their role is going to be in the offense, and they're both going to be both going to get their touches. But man, it's going to be exciting to see. And I think the linebacker position is going to be one as well. Are you going to put the smaller guys in Bowles and Ty Anthony Smith out there, or some other big thumping, stop the run kind of linebacker? Are they going to make their way onto the field? So those are some of the battles that I'm seeing right now.
I see we also got some the delusional Texas fans showing up. best wide receiver unit in the country. Yeah.
Man, let's get into some rapid fire, man. Hey, I'm
Let me
gonna
let
start
me
with
answer,
you.
let me answer Anthony Manzano's question real quick about Arch Manning. He's asking, is he being too harsh? No, you're not being too harsh. We all know that going into last season, the fact that he had that Manning name on his back and hadn't really played a whole lot had an effect on how people saw him because they expected him to come in and be like the Mannings before him. And that's not the case. We all know that in the game of football, you got to get out there, you got to get reps, you got to get playing time. One thing I will say in his defense, though, is the fact that he didn't have a whole spring and a whole fall to really get connected with his wide receivers. We saw the one receiver that he did get to connect with, which was Parker Livingstone. He had a really good chemistry with him. But had he been able to work with those other wide receivers during the spring and in the fall, as much as he got to work with Parker Livingstone, we probably would have seen a different Arch Manning than what we saw at the beginning of the season. We probably would have seen the one from the end of the season. But I don't think you're being too harsh on him because we all know that Manning name put him way up here before he had done really anything in college football.
Yeah, can I just add, I get the Manning name, and anytime your last name is Manning, there's going to be a whole lot of hype based on the success they've had. But if you just look at the latter part of last season, man, Arch Manning was on a heater. I think they figured it out. I think that kid has the goods, and he's going to show improve this season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, let's get into some rapid fire. Hey, Rob, we're gonna start with you. Best O, best D, and dark horse playoff team to make it to the playoff.
Best O, I'm going to go with Texas. Best D, I'm going to go with Georgia. And dark horse, I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Sean.
Best offense. I'm gonna go A&M's offense this year. Defense, Texas, with Will Muschamp coming back. I think Texas. And dark horse playoff team, Missouri.
Post game.
Offense, I'll go with Texas. I think a lot of people talk about Coleman in that receiving core, which rightfully so they should. But I think that rushing attack is going to give a lot of teams fits. So offense, I go with Texas. Defense, how can I not go with Kirby Smart in Georgia? Dark horse, I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to say Kentucky is the dark horse team in the SEC.
Yeah, my best Ole Miss, best defense, gotta go Georgia. And dark horse playoff team, I'm going South Carolina. Hey man, listen. Anything else y'all want to add to the SEC? I want to kind of touch the NBA playoffs action that we seen yesterday. Y'all good? All right. Hey, we seen the Cavs. They beat the Pistons 116-109. Did y'all watch the playoffs yesterday? Nah, Sean, you ain't watching that. I know post game touchdown. All right, post game. Give me your thoughts on that Cavs Pistons game, man.
I mean, you just got to think that the Cavs are at least going to get one. I think they got a chance to come back and win this series, but my man for the Pistons is still on fire, man, and it's a shame that he's not surrounded with better players. I thought they would be in a better position with him being out and some players being able to step up, but I haven't really seen that, and so I think Cleveland, as long as James Harden, and I do not trust James Harden in the playoffs, but if James Harden comes to play and is not making bonehead mistakes, not disappearing, I think Cleveland has a really good chance to come back and win this series. As far as the Lakers, our Lakers, we all seen the writing on the wall. We knew this was LeBron or the Lakers. This was a terrible matchup for the Lakers. I don't think they win a game. It's over with. They go down 0-3. Despite it not even being from OKC, SGA. SGA is not having a great series. It's everybody else. So I think the Lakers are in trouble, and I somewhat, as a Laker fan, I somewhat think that's a good game or a good thing because I think uh, the front office is going to be pissed off, and they're going to make the right moves, and hopefully build around Luca, and Luca can stay healthy and lead the Lakers to where they need to be. But I just got to add, yesterday and Friday kicked off the WNBA season, so the WNBA action is upon us, and there was a lot of good games.
Yeah, that Pistons Cavs game was crazy, man. I'm talking about you'll see one team up 10, 12 points, then you turn around and another team up 6, 7 points. It was just going back and forth, over and over. The Cavs gave me a heart attack, man. I cashed out at the right moment, though. And I was on my last breath with the SGA. I had him getting 25 plus, and I cashed out as soon as they called that timeout. I was like, he ain't coming back in the game. So I got my little $40 off the $5 yesterday. But yeah, we know it's the broom. Get the brooms out, man. It's over. I didn't think what was DeAndre Ayton out there doing yesterday, man. You just talk about 7 foot of nothing. Like that's what he gave us, 7 foot of nothing, bro. Like he was out there he couldn't get a rebound. Like I'm trying to figure out why you can't get a rebound. Hey, Evan Mobley did the same thing too the game before this one yesterday, where he had 1 rebound. How is these dudes 7 foot getting just a couple rebounds and you playing 30 plus minutes? I just don't get it, man. AR looked like he played himself out of a contract. I definitely don't think we should re-up him. Man, it's just bad, bro. It's really it was a sad night to be a Laker fan yesterday because this is like we couldn't do nothing with them dudes. WNBA. Yeah, we're gonna definitely tap in. We're gonna have some shows coming to that. Hey, we have 57-minute mark. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we get up out of here?
I watched the highlights of the NBA a little bit because I didn't watch anything with the Cavs game, but I watched some highlights of OKC because they got my boy over there, the white headband wearing Alex Caruso from Texas A&M. So I got to root for the Thunder to go and get him another ring. He's got 2, I think. So, yeah, that's what I keep up with that. I was watching hockey playoffs last night. So, but yeah, WNBA. I saw the Dallas Wings got a win. So I like that. I got to keep up with all them Dallas teams.
Hey, let me add this to what you're saying, SEC. You spoke about the Dallas Wings. It's something interesting about that team, their coach, and how they're constructed. That's a heavy guard team. That's a heavy guard. I remember Zay asking, should they take the girl from UCLA, the center, Lauren Betts, or go with the guard Azzi Fudd. I see why they went with Azzi Fudd. That's a heavy guard team when you think about Enrique Gumbawale, Paige Beckers, Azzi Fudd. Zaya James is on that team, and Odyssey Sims. They have a heavy guard rotation, and that team in Dallas is going to be an interesting watch this season.
Yeah, yesterday we did our debate between the SEC and the Big Ten in terms of who reigns supreme in the college football world. And I'm telling you right now, if the SEC does not win the national championship this year, it can really, really, really get difficult for them going forward because these recruits, they want to attach to winners, man. And if the Big Ten continues to do what they're doing and win it again, and the SEC doesn't, it can really sway some big-time recruits to go ahead and go to where they think the winning is taking place. And right now, that appears to be in the Big Ten.
Hey,
but I'm still going SEC.
Hey, though, it's not really if the SEC doesn't win. really, if Notre Dame can win, it can help y'all and save y'all too. So Notre Dame can get in there, or even another ACC team. If the ACC can get a champion, I don't think nobody see a Big 12 team possibly winning it all. But if one of them two programs, y'all just need the Big 10 not to win it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But all right, fellas, man. Hey, once again, we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, man. We hoping all y'all are being appreciated and loved up on the day, because it is definitely an appreciation day for y'all. Anything else you guys want to add before we roll out?
No, once again, happy Mother's Day to the mothers. I love you, Ma. Thank you for everything. I love you to my aunties. Thank y'all for everything. Y'all shaped myself as a young man and helped me grow and whatnot. So shout out to the ladies again.
All right, y'all can find us. All our channels are scrolling at the bottom. Please subscribe, man. It don't cost you a thing. You can also find us on Patreon. You can search WTP Sports Dude 2026, and please tap into the website. Leave your comments on the website so we can touch on some of the topics that y'all bring to us on the podcast. It's WTPSportsDudes.com. And that's it, man. We out. We was in the building like T1 say, and now we out.
Can I plug real quick?
I thought I just plugged. Go ahead.
I was just gonna plug tomorrow's for anybody in the comments. We're doing that. We're doing our softball breakdown tomorrow for the NCAA tournament softball. So anybody in the comments that keeps up with it, Bevo's bodyguard should join back, because I know his Texas State Bobcats will probably be in there. Oh, I'm sorry, Texas Longhorns. That's who you're the bodyguard for. They'll be the number 1 seed overall probably. But I just kind of want to plug that for tomorrow. So anybody that's got anything with softball interest, jump on in with us tomorrow about 7 p.m.
All right, y'all. Hey, enjoy y'all Sunday, man. Rob, I'll catch you tomorrow.
All right.
All right, peace.